pour décoller, pour Haïti décoller. Assez tant des âmes captivées pour tout maman petit nous yon prolongé afin de la capter de montagne. Insécurité même c'est pas parler. Est-ce que des autres ça y'ont financé? C'est assez.
Oh papa, dis un mot pour nous.
Pas dis un mot pour élève l'école yo.
Oh papa, dis un mot pour nous.
Y'a plein de fêtes quand la lito.
Ça qui veut voyer la droite, à droite.
Yo veut voyer la
droite. Ça qui veut voyer la gauche, à gauche, à gauche. Comme la nomission, il va monter.
Il va monter.
Il va descendre, il va déplacer. Ça qui veut voyer la droite, à droite.
Yo veut voyer la
Ça qui veut voyer la gauche, à gauche.
Yo veut voyer la gauche.
Comme la nomission, il va monter. Il va descendre, il va déplacer.
Les péchés nous sont l'air. Mais tu ne veux maillot en l'air. Souké.
Mesdames et messieurs, déboulez.
La vie vous ne pas épargner. Maman c'est si marée après les là. Tout le monde est maintenant tête à demander. Pour des problèmes pays ça pralait. Et nous chanter.
Nous vagabons encore.
Derrière les bouts balancer.
Nous vagabons encore.
Elle là.
Nous vagabons encore.
Derrière les bouts balancer pour ça. N'a tiré roche, n'a crasé, brisé. Pour les marchés va faire ça changer là. N'a fermé l'école jeunesse là bloqué. Appli pays à un bail côté. Et nous chanter.
Nous vagabons encore.
Derrière les bouts balancer.
Nous vagabons encore.
Elle là.
Nous vagabons. Quel ici pas de péché, puis bouler ça pour nous. Bouler des boulailles.
Bouler, yeah.
Bouler des boulailles.
Et puis monter dans caille.
Peuple a dit li dans bataille.
Et puis monter dans caille.
Peuple a dit li pas mal. Si on va dédoubler.
Oui, il y avait maillot on la tournée.
Si on va dédoubler.
Oui, il y avait chemise on la tournée.
Si on va dédoubler.
Oui, il y avait bagarre on la tournée.
Si on va dédoubler.
Levé casquette on est. Bouler, virer bagarre on est.
Bouler des boulailles.
Bouler, virer bagarre on est.
Olé, olé, olé.
Stop pour la chérie.
Olé, olé, olé.
Il est pas stressé de vie.
Olé, olé, olé.
Mais c'est monté nous pas faire chaille.
Olé, olé, olé.
Bouler,
Bouler des boulailles.
bouler, yeah.
Bouler des boulailles.
Et puis monter dans caille.
Peuple a dit li dans bataille.
Et puis monter dans caille.
Peuple a dit li pas mal. Si on va dédoubler.
Oui, il y avait maillot on la tournée.
Si on va dédoubler.
Oui, il y avait chemise on la tournée.
Si on va dédoubler.
Oui, il y avait bagarre on la tournée.
Si on va dédoubler.
Levé casquette on est. Bouler, virer bagarre on est.
Bouler des boulailles.
Bouler, virer bagarre on est.
Pump it up.
Olé, olé, olé.
Joker électronique chérie.
Olé, olé, olé.
Bouba.
Olé, olé, olé. Stop. Pour camper sous politique.
Oui.
Pas bon panique.
Eh.
Les petits peuples à mon plaisir.
Chantez. Envoyez.
Les petits peuples à mon plaisir.
Qui t'aide pour plaisir.
Les petits peuples à mon plaisir.
Nous nous parlons décoller.
Papel, papel, blanc.
Pour Haïti qu'a décollé.
Papel, papel, blanc.
Nous d'accord pour ça changer.
Papel, papel, papel.
Oui. Rodos.
Word. Word.
Unidos fait bon bagala.
Word.
Marché Titoni bon bagala.
Word.
Envoyez.
Les petits peuples à mon plaisir.
Qui t'aide pour plaisir.
Les petits peuples à mon plaisir.
Nous parlons décoller.
Papel, papel, blanc.
Pour Haïti qu'a décollé.
Papel, papel, blanc.
Nous d'accord pour ça changer.
Papel, papel, papel.
Oui.
Word.
Yavalou.
Word.
Belvedere.
Word.
Shots in the air. Shots in the air. Anytime we come in, shots in the air. Shots in the air. Shots in the air. Anytime we come in, shots in the air. Two-way, on t'y virgin, la vie chèvre et le lel pas tapis.
Pas quitter le tomber pour les guns.
Two-way, on y met dans la vie chèvre et le lel pas tapis.
Pas quitter le tomber pour les guns.
Son pas gagné censé, pour pas qu'à dépenser, pour ne pas balancer, pour que je ne pas placer, pour libérer n'a qu'à placer, pas que manger, pas que travail, pas qu'à la redouler.
Good evening or good morning, everyone watching the show tonight. Eh, Tonight we have a special we is a special show, and we, as you know, PCVI in the community. Last week we have a special guest that was a musician, and that Miss Hudson Simon. And now we are not in Queens because tonight we're in Brooklyn. And the topic, as you can see, as we promoted in the screen, was family reinforcement. But our guest is a guest. That's what she's been doing. She specializes in family.
Working with families,
She's
yes.
working with family, and but you know it's a big. We know it's a big topic. That's why we're going to focus mostly in family engagement in a course in school setting tonight. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about our guests, but we're going to take a quick break, and after that we'll come right back with our guests.
Prince Center for the Visually Impaired is a state-of-the-art facility with low vision specialists for all your vision needs. Our low vision rehabilitation specialists will accurately measure your visual capabilities and help you use it more efficiently. Please call us today for a low vision evaluation at area code 516-200-3850 or stop by our local office located at 550 West Merrick Road, Suite 3, Valley Stream, New York, 11580. Do not assume your options are limited to surgery or glasses, and do not wait until you are legally blind to benefit from our services.
Invalidité en cas de maladie, assurance crédit, assurance hypothèque, épargne et retraite. Si vous avez un projet ou t'as remis un monde analyser pour consulter qui soit besoin, relais Marie-Maude Prince, communauté haïtienne, déboutant de parler de assurance, c'est un seul monde lié, c'est Marie-Maude Prince. Relais le Kounia dans 514 386 84 05. Ou même qui t'a montré tout, tant qu'on prince et princesse dans le domaine assurance, son seul monde lié, c'est Marie-Maude Prince. Boss Ben Sidus.
Well, we are right back, and as I said to you tonight, the topic we're going to talk in the PCVI in the community is family engagement in a school setting, and we have our guest, that Gina Pierre-Louis. I'm going to have you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to PCVI in the community.
Thank you. Well, like you mentioned, my name is Gina Pierre-Louis, and I am a family worker. And I have been doing in that position for 5 years, but working in the school system for about over 20 years now. I was born in Haiti. First, let me say thank you for having me. You know, it has been a long time coming, but you're persistent. Allow me to get here, you and your team, so I appreciate it. And it's definitely something that we need to talk about. It's a very broad subject, family engagement, because you'll find family engagement in the school system, family reinforcement in different sectors of our society. And my specialty is that in the school, because I'm passionate about working with families. You know, seeing that I am an immigrant myself, I remember when I first came, it was a bit difficult to navigate everything in the school system.
I didn't know you were born in Haiti.
I sure was. Yes, I was. I came in like in the late 80s. So going to school, my parents not knowing, you know, the ins and the outs of the public school system, I had a bit of a struggle, and so as my brothers and sisters. But by the time we got into high school, basically we had to do a lot of things on our own. And right now I get to help the families navigate the different system that is going on and how they seek help. So a little bit about my background. I went to school at Medgar Evers College. I got my associate, then I got my bachelor in family counseling and disability studies with vulnerable population, and I went on to get my master's in bilingual school counseling. After working in the classroom, there's a saying in our home, you work with kids, you teach them a thing or two, and then by the time they leave the classroom, when they come back, it's like they dismissed everything that was taught. So I see it in a way as fekola se lave merci ate. So that was one of my reasons for going back to school as a counselor, to see how can I help not just the children but the families as well. Just like when kids are sick, they go to they go to seek doctors. It's the same way as teachers, as counselors, as administrators. We are specialties in the school that assist the families as well. So I wanted to know what are some of the best practices out there in order for me to be effective in helping families and bridging the gap between the home and the school.
Well, as you can hear it, we have the perfect guest for the show. But you make me shocked because I didn't know you even speak Creole.
I do.
Okay. Well, your field is, how can I call you? Your family social worker, family lawyer? What it is exactly?
Well, you definitely have to know the law that governs families in the school, because families, they do have rights. So you definitely have to know. And I did take classes at Brooklyn College, family law actually, at Brooklyn College, just so I could be effective. As the family worker, basically I work with the families. I'm an advocate for the families. I make sure whatever services they need, if they need any assistance, I sit down one-on-one with them. I engage them in what is going on in the school. Especially right now, there's transitioning going on where kids, or they are applying to go to either pre-K, 3K, public school, and my job is to assist them with that process. So whatever the family needs, I am here, I am available. I'm passionate about what I do because I know it's not easy, especially for immigrants that do not speak the language, whether it is Haitian Creole, Spanish, French, Arabic, because we all are human. We have the same basic needs. Especially as parents, we want to provide the best opportunity for our children. So I'm here to help them.
Okay, well that's good, you're here to help. But for people who watch PCVI Network, you heard about Miss Gina, and as she said, she's here to help you because I know there is a lot going on, and I will not say only in our country, in Haiti, but it's all over the world.
Right.
We have a lot of, as I'm looking, one of our IT person, he was in Saint Louis Gonzague in Haiti, and he could not go to school, but good for him. His family has the opportunity and bring him back, and now he's already almost finished and stuff like that, and now he's in vacation. He just come to the press center just to support, which is a good thing. But some of the family may not know the word where to start, and that's where it comes from. But what does it look like, when we talk about family engagement in a school setting? What does it look?
Okay, so you have family engagement and family involvement when it comes to the school setting. And family, they're basically the same, and sometimes people will use them into the academia of their children, where family involvement is what the parents are doing, to whether it's coming to meeting, whether it's staying in contact.
In Haiti, when you talk about family involvement,
right,
and if I'm wrong, if I'm wrong, you let me know because you recently come to the country. But in Haiti, but most of the parents, they know they just bring their kids to school,
right,
and that's it.
Right.
But when I want you to, it's not like we try to do this show about the Asian community only, but I'm trying to make sure, there is a lot of people that in their mind they think just send the kids to school. That's it. This kids will figure it out.
Right.
But it's very important. I want you to involve more. If you can give us more insight.
No
as
problem.
For the family involvement.
Okay.
Where that's school.
So it's not just in our Haitian cultures only, because you will find, especially where I work, I'm working predominantly with African American. You find families from African, other Caribbean island, and the way we were brought up, majority of the time they have the same concept. And I remember, to give you, an example, but I've been in this country for a little close to 30 years now, and I remember, and I see it now even with the families in our cultures. Parents nous voient dans l'école pour nous apprendre. There's no if, there's no but. Vous connaissez, ou aller, ou aller apprendre, ou venir la caille, ou faire devoir, ou faire ce supposé faire. So they don't have that much to do because they respect the teachers. And they expect the children, when they go, is to learn. You come home, you do your homework. But here in America, remember, it's very diverse. People from different background, different culture, different identity, and it's the melting pot, as they call it. So here, you send your child to school. First of all, the language is a major, setback. The custom. I remember in Haiti we wear uniform. In America we don't. And you will find some parents that will put their kids in uniform. My parents did that to me, not understanding.
Are you sure what you said? I see some student here wear uniform now.
Oh yeah, you will. Majority school, they're not obligated. Parents are not obligated to put their kids in uniform. You guys could let me know if I'm wrong, but
I don't know.
it's not. No, it's not. They are not obligated. You will find predominantly charter school, but you could send your kids to with whatever on.
Now, you said something. I don't try to cut you off.
Sure.
But you said you tried to do the comparison between Haiti and here. You said in Haiti, the kids respect the teacher, the kid follow. If that's you mean over here, the kids doesn't respect the teacher?
Gen yon gros différence. Parce que ou connaît un petit moun yo déjà connaît droit yo. Au professeur pas supposé et parler avec mon certains gens, professeur si professeur t'a passé, il t'a touché son problème. Mais en pile fois parents pas comprendre si ti moun nan li pa gen discipline ou pas ka éduquer. So that's one of the biggest issue when it in our system. And if you don't have parents to be engaged, to be involved, pour yo travail avec professeur, travail avec administration, then qui ça ka passe ti moun nan? So the kids will be like right in the middle while everybody's fighting one another and the child is not learning. So in a lot of cultures, you find that the kids know they go to school, they're there to learn, and parents not going to take nothing less from them. Whereas elsewhere in America where we live, there's so much right that they feel they have that it's hard for you to teach in the classroom. If the kids are talking out of tune, or they're just making a lot of noise, you tell them, well, I will call your parents. They don't care. So it's like you just sit back and say, you feel like your hands are tied because you have kids that are being disrespectful, disruptive, while others are here to learn. But when you have family engagement, family that are involved, if a teacher call, that child know, listen, my mom is coming, my dad is coming, and it's not gonna be pretty. Of course, y a pas arrangé yo parce que yo connaît, mais si yo connaît même sou les maman et les papa yo pas vini, c'est pas rien ça. Yo ka continuer faire ça yo vle faire.
It that mean if there is any because I heard they talk about a PTA or this type of things.
Right.
It's like the same thing which you talk about for parents, stuff like that, no?
What when you're talking about PTA, it's the coming together of parents. Pile fois ça parents pas comprendre, yo pas connaît droit yo, après ça yo pas connaît effet yo gain when it comes to the school system. The parent, I mean, si parents yo vinn ensemble, yo dit mais ça nous vle, pas gen choix in a sense because they're the one that really is spearheading, policies. Because before policy come into the school, they have to vote on it. Parents have to go to several meetings before it get to that point. Mais en pile fois parents pas connaît parce que pas connaît. Nous comprenons fait quoi là, yo besoin de travail parce que pour mettre manger sous table, bill pour payer, etc. Mais gen loi tout parents supposés joindre l'un de travail yo from their job to go to their kids' school if it's necessary. Because you could tell your boss, yes, I need to go to my child's school, and your boss could tell you, well, you know, you got to work, blah, 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 blah. But there are laws out there for parents taking time to go about their kids' school.
Okay. Well, I guess we have a lot to digest, but now I'm going to move a little bit back to kids. Do you have any experience, you know, working with kids with vision loss or blindness?
Oh, yes, I have in the past. As a matter of fact, part of my responsibility as a family worker is to make sure that whatever services the kids need, the screening, because once a child comes to the center, within 45 days, they need to have their lead risk assessment done, they need to have their vision, they need to have their hearing. About 2 years ago, we had invited I forgot the name of the company. Eye on Education. They came in and they actually did a screening on the kids, and from about 129 kids, we had about 15 kids needed glasses. The parents actually sent us an email to thank us, to say thank you. One particular child, we didn't even know, the doctor said, you know, that child is blind. So having those different services, the screening come into the school system. A lot of time parents feel that because they don't have money or they don't have insurance, that the child cannot see the doctor. But in New York City, once you are under 18 years of age, you can get free insurance.
Well, we have a lot of questions for you. I know a lot of people that are watching the network tonight. We have some of them. If you have any question you want to ask Gina Pierre-Louis, you can write the question under the need of the screen.
Absolutely.
And or IT will read the question for
no
you.
Problem.
And as I'm saying to you, the topic we're talking about today is a family engagement in school setting. And we have a family worker specialist with us, that's Gina Pierre-Louis, and that's here to answer all the questions. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
Pa kite ni glaucome, ni cataracte, ni lot maladie fè nou perdu vision nou. Chaque année, pensez à un docteur pour nous connaître état genou. Si vision nous commence à baisser, ou soit nous t'avons aveugle, restez positif. Spécialiste dans Brain Center for the Visually Impaired a toujours là pour courir nous.
Téléphone c'est 516 238 50.
We are right back. We are back with our guest, Gina Pierre-Louis.
Yes.
Okay. Again, the topic we're talking of tonight is family engagement in school setting. Now, you give a lot of information as for family engagement. You know, what make it difficult for family to engage with, you know, from that, I don't know. I'm just saying that because based on my experience, because in our practice we still have a lot of parents that came sometimes even the question you ask them, they think this school has to do everything for them.
Right.
Do you have an idea what can make them?
Well, you definitely find a lot of challenges. First, let me say, I don't know everything there is. It's based on experience, working with families, and having my own children as well. That kind of helped me a great deal. But some of the challenges that teachers might face, administrators might face, as well as parents for staying engaged. Number one could be lack of time, which is understandable because families have to work 9 to 5. So it's hard for them to come to the school as they wish. That's one. Number two, you'll find language barriers if they don't speak the language. One of the things that exists, you do have translators available, whether if they have to call the hotline or someone in the vicinity, so they don't have to be afraid to come. And culture wise too, because a lot of time you could be raised in a culture where the same way they know doctors or specialists in their area, they probably think, oh, teachers should know everything there is to know about their child. But what they don't realize, they are their child first teacher, first and foremost. I cannot tell you about your child. I can't tell you more about your child than you can tell about me. A lot of time, part of my responsibility when the parents do come in is there's a survey they have to complete, because that survey helped to determine where would we see that the best fit for the child. What is the child capable of doing? Their language, some of their habit, their learning style. One of the things we didn't know about, back in the days. So you will find that. And also sometimes teachers got to take ownership to make parents feel welcome in the classroom. Because if as a parent I'm coming in and the teacher's busy, don't acknowledge me, then I'm like, okay, you're too busy, there's nothing for me to do, so let me drop the child off and I'm gonna go about my daily routine. And also the school gotta make it very welcoming as well. Si montre non kote apre sa mba jwen, comment mda di sa, a impression that I'm welcome, there's no need for me to come back.
You think over here the school are not welcome the kids?
Listen, it depends, because sometimes not even the child, the parents, because feeling if you want me to be involved, that means you making, again, it goes to that process, that genuine process of telling me, yes, what you said, I value you as a parent. I value your input into whatever we're doing, because we want to create a culture where parents feel welcome, not just the kids, because there's no way you're going to invite my child somewhere and I'm not invited. As a parent, I'm like, my kids ain't going nowhere. Even if my child does go, I'm going to feel a bit apprehensive. So the school have to do their part, and the parents have to take the initiative as well.
You talk about the learning style. Okay, because I do that a lot in low vision here, because we have a lot of old age client, and the learning style, because when we teach them to see again, the learning style is very important. I know teaching someone that been doing for his whole life or for her whole life, that been doing anything for on her own, and now that already have their own knowledge, and now you try to teach them something. It's different than teach kids.
Yeah, it is.
And
it is.
Now, when you talk about learning style, that means when the people go to school, because now we're talking about kids, and then the next segment we're going to talk about adults.
Oh Lord.
The university, stuff like that.
Okay.
Now, do you do an assessment, and at the end you suggest what style of learning is better for the kids?
What we do before the children actually step in, there is a pre-screening that we do. Again, that give us a better understanding of the child, because sometimes the kids will come into the setting with issues issues that parents may not be aware of. Like I could sit with a parent with a 2-year-old child, a 3-year-old child, and I notice the child doesn't say anything at all. And I could ask the parents, doesn't the child speak? Oh, they say a few words, but I understand them. But from that moment on, the minute they step into the office, I could tell if the child will need services. If the parent is just holding on to the child, I could say, well, let the child walk, because I would always have a puzzle, something for the child to do. And that is my way of assessing or screening the child. But within 45 days of the child being with us, because we do not, turn back any child regardless. So if within 45 days, we use the brigands that actually screen the child. They look at the language, social, emotional, physical, and other area. Depending on where the child fall, then it would raise a red flag to say, mommy, that child need further assistance. And that would mean whether the child's need, to see a vision doctor, whether the child need one-on-one for extra support, because some children just need constant redirecting. They have what they call early intervention or preschool and special education that help the kids if they need extra support. I always said, give them the early intervention now, so later on they could function, they will have the skill necessary. But vision is definitely a big part, because there's no way you will know without screening the child first.
But my question to you, sometimes you don't think they overload it? They go, they overkill, because did they give a chance? Because when a child walk to a new school, some child might need time to get used.
Oh yeah.
To the environment.
Absolutely.
Some child, but I know you may have a guideline to go by to based on the age, stuff like that. Do you think sometime, because I have some of the parents that explained to me sometime they went to when they register to a new school, they already said the kids need this, need that. Some of them auto give the kids a test. The kids never been familiar with this type of test. The kids fail automatically. They say the kids need this, need this.
Right.
Do you think all this is right? Or
well, I personally, based on your experience, there's certain things you could pick up off the bat. But you're not going to say, well, mommy, your child need this, your child need that. There is a period of 45 days. So within 45 days, the child being in the classroom. After a month, there's an adjustment period. So within 45 days of doing that screening, maybe you don't need 45 days. Maybe after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, the child, is comfortable in the setting, where a child might need more than 45 days. But the time frame is within 45 days. They do the screening to see, okay, is there any area that the child needs support in?
Okay. Now, it's because I'm just explaining to you based on my based on my experience, where a lot of parents sometimes complain. Now, we don't want to move from the child, but as for family engagement in school setting, that doesn't only happen in a child setting, even at the university. Do you think there is an economic factor? I'm going to explain myself, because I know a lot of couple, like being a foreign medical graduate, when I come here, and when I have to do low vision, I have to relocate, I have to close my business completely. This is a big sacrifice. Close my business and move to Pennsylvania, and to learn low vision, and out of your family, stuff like that. Leave your family out, and that's my experience. But I see that experience from other colleagues that when they have to go to medical school, and when they have to match, they can go anywhere. They can send the wife in Kansas and the husband in New York two different way.
Right.
That weakness the family, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they end up to have to break out. Now I'm just bringing it up.
Yeah.
And when you talk family and reinforcement, for a situation like this, for financial situation, what's your thoughts about this thing?
Family engagement, everything is a sacrifice, and its parents have to understand from the time a child is conceived up until God knows when. It's all about sacrifices. Sometimes parents, we have to sacrifice ourselves. Sometimes it could be the marriage, because sometimes you do find the friction because of financial burden. But I will say communication is definitely key. A lot of time we don't speak, we hold things in. An example, let's say I'm meeting with a family, she's having difficulties, making ends meet. It's either paying the bill or feeding the child, buying food. Sometimes they'll sit with me. I assist parents in applying for, government assistant, to make sure that, the child doesn't go without. Because in the school, we don't only look at the child's, academic, but it's also social and emotional. It's the child, it's the holistic being that we have to look after. It's not just one part, because you might be able to assist in one part and the other area is making it hard. Parce que si ti moun nan la kale li pa manje, ou pa ka expect pou vin l'école pou la pran. So you have to make sure that everything is in place. So when the child do come in the classroom, that child is ready to learn, to play, to sing, to talk, to share, and being active in the classroom in order to become that citizen that we want them, or they ought to be.
Okay,
so challenges is a major thing, especially financially. The way things are going, in the city, everything is going up except for our paycheck. So sometimes you have to make decision, and sometimes you have to seek help.
Okay, now understand, you answer me very well as for the child aspect. Now, and what you do for a parent, I was reading an article yesterday. The husband is a physician. He explained when he get matched, he has to move away, and sometimes for him to see his child, he has a medical student has to hold a phone for him to be able to see the child. And even when he come to see his son, this son doesn't even recognize him, doesn't even want to hold him, but he has to do that because that's to fulfill
his obligation. His obligation.
Now I'm trying to get an answer for these people.
Right.
What advice you can give them?
Let me tell you, it's hard to give you like a general answer. It's very difficult. But I think I said communication between, the two partners is key. Back in the days, we didn't have FaceTime. But now, that's an option. I may not, see you physically, but that's an opportunity. Having FaceTime, talking, seeing you as much as possible, that one-on-one talk. Because although you cannot come to the school, but I could ask you, okay, what's going on in school? What did you learn today?
Okay.
And even you away, you should be able to connect with that teacher as well via email, phone call, just to stay abreast of what that child is doing.
I want you to keep your thought.
I'm trying.
Yes, we're going to take a break and we will be right back.
Okay.
About how vision affects our daily lives? Well, this is a great segment for you because that includes vision in the classroom, women in medicine, and careers for the visually impaired, and much more. Each week, you can be fascinated by topics that include and branch beyond medicine, provided by the PCVI Network. Tune in on Sundays at 3 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. You can also search
Culture, société, politique, économie, santé, environnement, géopolitique, un franc-parler avec Ronald Léon chaque mardi 7h 8h PM sur le PCVI Network. Ronald Léon Show, le show le plus chaud du web. Suivez-nous sur notre page Facebook, la chaîne YouTube et le site d'internet de PCVI Network. Enfin, sur la page Facebook de Ronald Léon Show.
Well, we are back with our guest. We have Gina Pierre-Louis with us. She is a family worker. And in the subject we're talking today is a family engagement in the school setting. Now, I know you gave a lot of information before we talk about kids. Now, let's talk about family reinforcement in old age. Because when we look at our parents, you know, a lot of parents, when they look at the system now, they have a tendency to criticize everything, because everything is in the healthcare system now. You know, everything is leading toward, you know, health situations, stuff like that. But before, a parent, when you look at the old couple, you know, the way they used to keep themselves together is completely different. I talked to because as you know, you come into the show, you know, and I try to do some homework and talk with a lot of people and get some information. You know, I talked to a 86 years old, one of 86 years old, my patient. He said to me, on his time, you know, all he used to raise his kids, all he used to put stuff together to get him and his wife in the same page, or some of the value, the culture aspect used to be a big factor, and now he tried to blame everything on the healthcare system. What's your thought about this?
The first thing that comes to mind is that there's a shift in the sense that at some point you're gonna find the child gonna be the parent and the role going to reverse. Yes, when it was their time growing up raising children, it was different. And I think education plays a vital role, because especially when you're growing up and you notice that change is taking place, you have to know your parent, you have to know the individual you are dealing with. Like, how can you approach them so you don't belittle them? How can you talk to them, make them understand as best as possible that you're trying to help them? Parce que tant ki passe a, c'est pas même temps ça nous gen encore. Bagay yo différent. Ti moun apprend différemment. Back in the days, you know, we used to use encyclopedia. You go to the library, encyclopedia. But now, everything is in the palm of your hand. And some parents, they still can't comprehend that. So you have to be aware there's got to be like a mutual ground where you come in and et ou même qui pi jeune, spécialement si sous son monde qui éduqué, you would have to use that education you have to see how can you best help the older people understand. It's like teaching them computer.
What do you think you can teach your, I would say, to your parents, for example?
My parents.
What do you think you can bring to them for them to listen to you?
What I tell my parents, I said, you sent me to school, so when you can't, I'll be able to step in. So pour ça nous voyons tout le monde dans l'école. C'est parce que ou connaît y a privé non temps, c'est eux même qui pral guider ou. So c'est qu'on y a ses parents qui pour connaître, OK, bon relax moi, m'gen confiance que ça m'de mettre dans l'IA, c'est ça qu'on y a m'a récolté. Mais gen quelques parents yo maintenant tête yo, I'm the adult, I have whatever I said, go.
Okay.
But that defeat the purpose. If you didn't send me to school to learn
that?
I'm not against it, but you have to listen to me and listen.
That? Are they wrong?
They're not wrong, and neither am I against it. But at some point, they have to realize that time has changed.
Okay. Now, I study doing my low vision practice, I left this area at the last segment of the show. What called andragology. I don't know if you get
Not so much.
Okay, andragology, that this is like for kids. Use like what they call pedagogy.
Okay.
Like kids listen to what you do. When you go to school, the teacher guide you, tell you do this, do this. In andragology is another scientist where you cannot tell your parent, the old age person, what to do.
It's so hard
because and you have to compose with them. You have to work with them.
Compromise.
You have to do something meaningful with
Patience
them.
and patience.
In your talk, when you just talk now, you said they have to listen to you. They will not have to listen to you.
They don't have to, but that's the best way to do it. Get quelques parents pas gen anyon ka fait, yo pa koute ou.
No, but it's not true. That's why we have this show on PCVI Network, to educate a lot of a client, because if you bring a geriatric, a doctor here, and they're going to get a different approach.
Absolutely.
Because
yes, they will.
A old age patient listen to whoever understand them, whoever meet them, understand their need. And sometimes it's not because you may have your pride, they may don't listen to you because they still see you as a child.
As a child.
But one question you have to make yourself, you have to ask yourself, you still doesn't get them. Each try to find out what's meaningful for them. If what's meaningful for them is to go to church, is what's meaningful for them is go to work.
Right.
You have is still working even as a kid, because I've been deal with this situation with my mom, where all of us didn't want her to work, but she did want to work. You understand? And I see that for some of my patients, and when the kid doesn't want them to do, but I explain to them, your parent has been dealing independently for their whole life,
for so long.
Their knowledge is like a big dictionary.
Right.
Now, what you need to do is try to do things that meaningful for them. If they like to work, you bring them to work. You make sure they went to a place that's
get
safe.
them involved.
You make sure you make sure mentally everything is good, because you may see your parent may not listen to you. Some of the parents listen only the doctor.
Yeah.
You know why? Because the doctor
understand it. And I'm glad you brought that up, because presently my parents are getting of age, and we have to find out how can we get them to understand that what is the process that they are going through. And it ties nicely with school engagement, because if the grandparents and you have some family member that is of age, they don't want to stay home, they want to do something, get them involved in the school. Because research shows that elders that work closely with younger children, they live longer. So instead of keeping them home, telling them they can't go anywhere, get them involved, have them to volunteer.
Now, the question is how to get them involved. And because we can say that we educate you, but if you have hard time to get them involved, look for help
in the community.
Yes, because there is professional in the community. There is counselor, there is social worker like you that will be open for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And to help them, because don't think they cannot fix. Because the reason I'm take this as that's part of the segment, like most active personal, is because I have patients coming here from time to time. Their kids stay in their car.
Really?
Coming in.
Really?
Let the aide that work with them come in, because for them is a headache. Your parent cannot be a headache for you. When the parent come inside, and they only think the parent will just explain to you, they don't understand me. I told them I have pain. I told them my eye is itching. They think I'm faking. I told them sometimes they just leave me home. When they going out vacation, I would love to go. They can
that makes sense.
This is not for you. This is not. This is we have to have a better way, because
and dealing with the elders.
The cultural aspect always matter. When I see the cultural aspect, because you can see some of the kids, they talk any way they want with their parents
or grandparents.
with their grandparents. You understand? But I will not say that everywhere, because some grandparents will not let that happen.
Absolutely,
You know, stuff like that.
absolutely.
But all this is by knowing how to deal with them, because knowing is difficult. You imagine if so many people did understand that what they call the andragology, the science that study the old age people.
Okay.
So many people will not have a stroke, will not end up to the nursing home. So many people will not now have diabetes and
That's true.
all type of complication, because a lot of kids, because I know a lot of people, the kids doesn't understand them. The blood pressure coming in, a lot of things coming in, they have stroke, you know, some of them die.
But the children also have to seek help, and I'm saying that because maybe we don't know how to. Parents don't know how to connect with us, and now we've seen our parents throughout our life being independent, being the provider, the protector, and now we're seeing that their health is deteriorating. We don't know how to deal with it. I work with with young kids because that's my passion, but put me with adult, it's a bit scary, because I'm like, they're set in their ways. When you try, they do, don't get me wrong, they have a lot of knowledge to pass on, but it's where's that common ground? The same way we want to connect the school with the home, how do we connect the different generation to work together so we could learn and glean from them and they do the same?
Yeah, but this is, because I've been witnessing I do that experience with my mom. When she was in the hospital, and she just walked to the center. Some of the people on the floor, some of the nurse doesn't even know the patient.
That's true.
The patient doesn't speak the language. They already give her all type of diagnostic.
Right.
Sometimes I have to step in and say, the charge nurse, you don't even know the patient. That's the way you deal with the patient. You have to understand, relate with the client, with the patient first. But this is education that doesn't teach in medical school. And this is the subject that need to be taught.
Right.
And I'm taking, this is the way the country leading toward the future now, because now we try to fix issue less with more with the with therapy and medication. That's where the behavioral therapist is coming from. That's where people like a family worker coming from. But I hope the system is using you guys more and more, and then
let me tell you, I've never had a dull moment, because when you're working with people, it's like being in a hospital. You don't know what kind of patient you're going to get. I don't know what families are bringing in. A family might come today and said, what, this is what transpired. And sometimes the kids will tell you, this happened yesterday between my mom and my dad. You'll be surprised. So it's never a dull moment. And you always have to stay in the know. Know, the best practices at that time. Know the policy that govern, whether it's the health, whether it's the seniors, whatever area it is, know the policies.
Well, I guess we talk a lot. I didn't know the time already.
I know.
I guess we're going to take a quick break, and after that we can conclude.
Close it, no problem.
Pa kite ni glaucome, ni cataracte, ni lot maladi fè nou perdu vision nou. Chaque année, pensez à un docteur pour nous connaître état genou. Si vision nous commence à baisser, ou soit nous t'avons aveugle, restez positif. Spécialiste en Brain Center for the Visually Impaired a toujours là pour courir nous.
Téléphone c'est 516 238 50.
Okay, I always say in all show, every show has a beginning and end. Now, what's your last word?
Well, thank you again for having me, and it's always good because I learn, from you as well. what I want the community to know is it is so important for families to stay involved. If mom cannot be present, make sure you have an auntie, a neighbor, a uncle, someone to step in. Parce que en pile fois, présence ou ap di moun koman pou yo agi avec ti moun. If si pa gen parent, ça veut dire hey, yo ka fè n'importe bagay, di n'importe bagay. But if they know there's somebody there that is active, if anything happened, I know somebody is representing that child, then trust me, they will do right. So stay involved, stay connected, know your right as a parent, and even know your child's right and what services are out there.
That's a big conclusion. But just to let everyone know, I hope you will be back because with I have a new book that came out, Manual for Child and Vision Development Milestone. I don't know if I have the picture now, and
I will be reading it
because a lot of information you see as for child related is more in detail, but not like a professional. Mine is more like medically.
Right.
Medical
I'm from the social services aspect, and you're in the medical.
But we have some chapter that call out diversity in the classroom.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We have literacy and braille for people that doesn't see. We have subject like kids sometimes that play sport, they don't even know what issue they have until at the end, and they can see they diagnose them with HDED until they don't even know. But that's a new book that's available in Amazon.com.
Right.
If everyone it came out I guess January 30.
Congratulations.
Yes. And this man is a book I saw a lot of other people from the different community is asking for this book.
Good.
And everybody can it's available in all format.
Okay.
When I say all format, I'm a low vision, I'm like we are specialist. It's available in regular print for people like you.
Yeah, I love books
for people like you. It's available for an audio also.
Okay.
For people that doesn't speak the language, doesn't speak, that cannot read. People that cannot read at all.
So they read it. That's my style.
They can listen to it in the school, and it's available in Ashburn. The only format we don't have is the Braille format that we're still working on it. And maybe in our new edition we'll be able to do it. Now, if one of you didn't get that manual for child development as they show today, I wish you talk more about it before. You can get it in any store, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, is manual for, or if you Google Illusion G Prints or in any of those stores, manual for child development, as you can see on the screen, will show up. You can get it, or you can get it from the publishing company directly. It might be cheaper. Zilibus, and that's the publishing company. You can get it directly. Well, it was a pleasure.
Pleasure was all mine. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, and I know we've been trying to get you.
I know.
For a long time. Hopefully you will be back.
There will be a part 2, I promise. Yes.
Hopefully you will create that.
There will be
a part 2, and I guess thank you to everyone who
tuning in,
and watching the show tonight. And I'd suggest you can share the show. There is a lot of information that been provided by me, Gina, Pierre-Louis tonight, and I will see you next time.
Yes, thank you.
Vision loss can greatly affect one's quality of life. However, there are low vision devices and technology that can help patients maintain a functional quality of life. Prince Center for the Visually Impaired specializes in helping patients find the right technology for their specific needs. For more information, call us at 516-200-3850 or stop by our office at 550 West Merrick Road, Suite 3, Valley Stream, New York, 11580. learn more about how vision affects our daily lives? Well, this is a great segment for you because that includes vision in the classroom, women in medicine, and careers for the visually impaired, and much more. Each week, you can be fascinated by topics that include and branch beyond medicine, provided by the PCVI Network. Tune in on Sundays at 3 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. You can also search PCVI Network and the channel will appear on the search. New and exciting episodes hosted by Jerlene Aristide will be posted weekly. You won't want to miss this. Trust me. We'll see you then.